How's it going, Godzilla fans, Kaiju fans, collectors, and just general people of YouTube? This is Chanzilla 1964 coming back to you with yet another figure review. Today we're going to be reviewing the Playmates Titanus Tiamat figure. Yes, that is right. I finally found the Playmates Tiamat figure here in Hawaii, and we finally have her in hand. I mean, I've been so excited anticipating this figure. Well, this one and the Mothra figure, but let's focus on this one for now, because there's a lot to unpack here. Kind of a lot, but also kind of not a lot. It's just crazy, because this is probably my favorite Playmates figure right now. In fact, is probably my favorite Playmates figure right now. Let's just jump into detail here for Tiamat. Looking right at the face over here, there's a lot of really nice face detail with all the wrinkles. And then you got Tiamat's horns over here. The eyes are not sculpted, but they are painted, which is nice. I mean, they're kind of sculpted, but they're mostly painted. You have Tiamat's beak over here, and then some more kind of jaw detail. And then you got her whiskers. And her whiskers are very nicely done, I must add, because Playmates could have easily sculpted the whiskers to her body, but they didn't. They went that extra mile, and they actually had it out there, like actual whiskers. So I think that's a really nice detail. And then you got these whiskers over here. I mean, it's just a lot. Like, the detail is not crazy, but the amount of detail, or the detail that's here, is so very much appreciated, very nice. And then you got the petals here for Tiamat's face, which have little bits of detail on the inside of it as well. Speaking of the inside of Tiamat, didn't come off the way I wanted. Speaking of Tiamat's, here's Tiamat's mouth, pretty much. I thought it was gonna be all gummy and stuff, because when I saw the initial pictures, I didn't see any teeth. But there is teeth for Tiamat, it's just very small. You got 1 row, 2 row, and then you got the rows on the top of the mouth too. They're just not painted. And then there's Tiamat's tongue, very nice detail over there. And you got a little bit of the gum flap, I guess. Not gum flap, God, that's definitely not it. But that part of the mouth where when if they open their mouth all the way, there's the pink part. Yeah, there's that stuff over here, which is really a nice additional detail. I like that. And it hides very nicely when you close them out too. So yeah, I love the detail on the face. And as we continue down the body, on the top of the head, we have the beginning of scales. And these same scales run all the way down the length of Tiamat's body. Well, from the beginning of the body, they kind of flow into this kind of, not smoother, but smaller scaling texture. And then it kind of phases in and out, where you got the smaller scales, and you got the scales turn bigger, and you got the smaller scales. It's really interesting how they did it, and it's really, really cool. And then it goes all the way till this part of the toe where it just turns into wrinkles. I'm not sure why that is, but I believe that is something for Tiamat, judging off the Dope Pope concept art for her. Since we're on the scales though, I may as well go over the fins too. The fin details are very, very nice. I mean, look at it. You have actual fin details, and they have actual detail for the crest too. Very, very well done. And it's for each and every single fin, which I found crazy. Now, this is just for the top row fins. So the bottom row fins, they kind of, or the middle row anyways, to kind of, I guess, consolidate it better, they made it where her fins are tucked away to the side of her, and then the underside it shows a little more. But I mean, it's such a neat design choice, and I like it because it works really well, where it just doesn't look like a whole bash of just these fins. There's a variety, which I really appreciate them doing on Tiamat. Tiamat is also going to have fins on her arms. Ooh, almost forgot her arms. The fins on her arms are very intricately done. It's like how on some Japanese creatures like Dodongo from Ultraman, they have those kind of very cloud wispy like fins. That's reminiscent of this. It's not quite it, but it reminds me of it. But the fins on her arms are all very nicely done, and they're all going to be the same from what I can tell. They all look, oh no, well, the front ones are going to be a little bit different from the back ones, and there's not this overlap flap, but besides that, they're pretty much the same from what I can see. Then there's going to be some scaling detail on her arms, even though there's some actual armored plating, which is cool. And then you got her claws on all of her fingers or feet or whatever the heck you're gonna call them. Anyway, so the inside of the arms have a little bit of detail, not too much, nothing too crazy. And then the underside is gonna have the titular Playmates kind of hole in the bottom of the feet thing going on. Yeah. Last part to review is the underside of Tiamat, which has some very nice underbelly detail. I'm not sure what else to call it really. It's nothing too crazy, but the detail is there, which is really nice. I really appreciate the detail. The underside of her chin there's going to be a little bit of detail, but I'm not quite sure what they're going. No, I see where they're going for. They're trying to connect this, just that this kind of upsets it over here. But yeah, it's really, really nice detail like this. Now, there is going to be the elephant in the room with her eyes. On this one, my eyes are kind of wonky in that she's looking up and down at the same time. It's just quality control for Playmates. Nothing exactly wholly wrong with it. I do plan on repainting her, so yeah, but spoilers. Moving on to paint for Tiamat. Here we have her whole body's pretty much going to be this kind of blue-green color, which is really, really nice. Yeah, it's just going to be this whole blue sea green color thing going on here with her jaw, her bottom jaw, and her petals, and the tips of her whiskers being this really nice sand color. And then the underside of her body is going to be this kind of whitish gray underside skin tone, which does not translate all the way to the end of the body, which is kind of a bummer, but I'm honestly cool with it considering the paint that we do have. Because the really real shining star here, oh well, before I get to that, there's going to be the pink on the inside of the mouth. The teeth are not going to be painted. The eyes are painted wonky, but still pretty well. I like the eyes. Okay, the main attraction for me for Tiamat, the paint-wise, is going to be her fins. The way they did her fins is really, really nice. I like how there's this transition of, I know it's just like overspray kind of, but it still transitions nicely because in the movie her spine's kind of glow, so it looks like her spine's glow. On this figure, which is a nice little detail I appreciate. And there's going to be a little bit of that paint on the tip of the tail too. Again, glowing kind of effect. So yeah, the downside is that her fins on her arms are not going to be painted, but that's just a small thing because honestly, I'd say, like I said, this is one of Playmates' best figures. For me, this is my favorite figure from Playmates. And it just trickles down from the detail and the paint and the articulation. Yeah, here, let me just show you. So, as you saw, the mouth moves. The head is on a ball joint, which is really nice. Arms are on these kind of hinges, and then they can go back and forth and all the way around. This section of the body is going to be on a ball joint. This section is going to be on a ball joint. Pretty much all the body parts are on a ball. All the body articulation is ball jointed, which is really cool because you can get into some really cool poses. But the arms are going to be on these hinge and swivel joints, which still give you a good amount of movement and playability, honestly. But yeah, that's about it for articulation for Tiamat 2. The one thing that has me a little worried for Tiamat are going to be her whiskers, because I can see them getting brittle over time and possibly coming off as this figure gets older. But it's just one of the things with these rubber figures, I suppose. So I'm hoping Bandai does make a Tiamat figure, or if not Bandai, then YMSF or somebody out there makes a vinyl Tiamat figure where it's gonna, withstand the sands of time pretty much, because I can see this figure eventually the joints are gonna get loose and stuff. But that's something way down the line. Honestly, let's get on the size comparison before I go into the rabbit hole. Okay, for size comparison, here is Tiamat next to Godzilla. So Tiamat sizes up really nicely with Godzilla, actually. This is the Playmates one, by the way, not the Bandai one. I will bring him out later. But she sizes up pretty nicely. She is 8 inches long, by the way, from head to tail, if you fully have her spanned out pretty much. And yeah, I mean, honestly, here, there's Tiamat with Godzilla, Shimo. This size comparison I'm kind of bummed with. I'm going to say she sizes up nicely with Kong, even though I'm pretty sure Kong would get completely demolished by Tiamat. And then you got Scar King. Scar King definitely would get demolished by Tiamat. And then here is Zuko and Doug. Not going to say anything there, but yeah. I mean, I think Tiamat sizes up really nicely with all of these guys, honestly. Let me show you what I mean specifically for Godzilla when I say she sizes up nicely with them. Because in the movie, she does constrict Godzilla. And you can get her in that pose if you just take a little bit of finagling here as well. Okay. So, yeah. You can get her in that pose as well where she's constricting Godzilla. So, best Playmates figure, I mean, hands down, so far, best Playmates figure, one of my favorites, definitely my favorite right now. Really good Tiamat figure. I do hope that there's a vinyl one that comes down the line one day, but for now, for what it is, it's practically the perfect Tiamat figure, honestly speaking. Yeah. Cannot give it enough praise. I can't. It's just amazing. Okay, so overall analysis for Tiamat. The detail on this figure is practically perfect. The paint is almost perfect. It's pretty much perfect though. Articulation is also perfect, pretty much. It's like above what I expected. And the size comparison is definitely perfect as well. So this figure is, I mean, all I'm going to say is if you are a fan of the Monsterverse, heck, if you're a fan of Tiamat, especially if you're a fan of Tiamat, hello. And if you are like a fan of mythology, I know it's not quite accurate, but it's still a depiction of Tiamat, which is really, really cool. I would recommend picking this figure up. Heck, even if you like dragons, this is like an ideal dragon figure in that it has all the articulation and the detail that you might want from a dragon. So, what the hell? This is a really, really good figure despite your interest. Whether it just be strictly Godzilla, if there's a little like more out of that realm, I recommend you pick this figure up because it's a really, really nice figure. That being said, I am going to be doing a custom of this girl. So please do stay tuned for that video. In fact, I'm going to leave a teaser in the end, so hang around for a bit. But this is pretty much the end of the video anyways. If you guys like this video, do be sure to hit the thumbs up button down below. If you guys think that I may have missed something, or if you guys think that this is not, in fact, the perfect Tiamat figure, do leave me a comment in the comment section down below. Let's talk about that. And if you guys like what you see on the channel, please do be sure to subscribe. I do have a feeling we're going to be having another paint with Chanzilla coming up pretty soon. Anyways, this has been Chanzilla1964 saying until next time, guys. Peace. Alright, so not only am I going to custom paint this figure, but long story short, before I found the Tiamat figure in Hawaii, I originally saw it on eBay going for about $22, so I grabbed one, and about 4 days later, after it had been shipped, I found one in Hawaii, so I now have 2 Tiamat figures. So, 2 Tiamats. I have 2 Tiamats. And here's what I'm going to do. In the custom, I'm going to be using both of these guys to make an accurate depiction of the Dope Pope Tiamat. So that video, I hope you guys stay tuned, stay around. Do be sure to keep an eye out for that video because it's going to be awesome. It's also going to be really chill and peaceful. That's usually how things with painting with Chanzilla goes. It's usually a very chill and peaceful video compared to a lot of my other more chaotic videos. But do be sure to stay tuned because it's going to be, well, for me, I've already seen an idea of what I'm trying to do. I think it turns out pretty nice. But let me know what you guys think when you see it. Thanks.